This is my audience. Have you ever imagined having your own personalized set of dominoes? Many people bond through playing dominoes with one another. For many years, about 3 years, I've been creating resin products, and throughout the years, I've learned a lot about how to kind of perfect my craft. So today I would like to demonstrate how to create a personalized set of resin dominoes. Creating these customized dominoes includes 3 main steps, which are using epoxy resin and hardener, customizing the dominoes, and finally curing the dominoes. So first I would like to discuss the epoxy resin and hardener. So right here we have part A, which is the epoxy resin, and here we have part B, which is the epoxy hardener. So whenever you are beginning to create your resin products, first you want to make sure that you have something that will protect whatever surface that you're working on, because it will get stuck and it may not come off. So you want to make sure you have a clear space, something to protect your table, and yeah, you definitely want to make sure that you're wearing gloves to protect your hands. So I'll begin by putting my gloves on. Let's see here. Okay, so epoxy resin and hardener is a 2-part adhesive that can be used to personalize items, fix broken things, or it can even act as a sealant. So basically the epoxy resin provides structure, and it's the main component in the process. The epoxy hardener is what begins the curing process and actually solidifies the liquid. So when these 2 components are combined in the correct proportions, a chemical reaction begins, which forms a 3-dimensional network of interconnected polymer chains. This process is responsible for transforming the liquid epoxy into a solid item. So we'll start with our epoxy resin. And I also have a little scale here, because whenever you're working with epoxy resin and hardener, you want to be sure that you have almost basically perfect measurements. Because if they're not properly measured, then it will not cure properly. So I have my scale on. I'm going to pour an equal amount of both. Okay. So I got my resin. And then next I'm gonna go, so I'm at 19 grams. So now I'm gonna go in with my hardener with a 2nd cup, a new cup. And it'll be the same thing. I wanna go to 19 again. Okay, perfect. Okay, so now that we have that completed, so now that we have our equal measurements of epoxy resin and epoxy hardener, we're going to take another cup and we will mix the both of them into this cup. Now whenever you're mixing, you want to use a wooden spoon or something disposable. So then you're just going to pour your resin and hardener into the cup. Now what I'm doing here is scraping the sides, which is very important, because you want to make sure, like I said, that you're getting all of the contents inside into this next cup, because you want those measurements to be perfect. So bam. And then you go in with the next one, same thing. Scraping the sides, and get it all in there. So next, when you have them both in your cup, you just want to stir around. Mix it around. Mix, 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 mix. You don't want to go too fast because it can create a lot of bubbles. You also don't want to go too slow, just a nice pace to make sure you have that incorporated well. So for timing purposes, I'm going to stop mixing now. Okay, so perfect. Now that we have it mixed together, all neat and nice, we can start with our decorating process. So in the decorating process is free will. You kind of use your creative juices, let it flow, figure out what you want to do. So I'm going to use this pink glitter. If I could get it open. Okay, perfect. So then we can just put a little, however much you like, it's however you want it. Okay. So along with my glitter, I'm going to be using, I believe someone in my audience mentioned rocks. So we can use rocks today. So we're going to add a little bit of these rocks, which once again, there's no right or wrong way to do this. It's however you choose, or your client. So when you have that, so just to kind of show a little bit, when you have that all in, you want to go in and mix it up. Mix it in really good. I wish I had my paint. So another thing that will kind of enhance the color, because right now we have just like a glittery pink. Oh, these are pigmented powders that you're also able to use to color your resin. So I'm just going to get a little, just a little bit, not too much. Okay, and get that in there. So this will enhance the color and kind of give it more of that pink. And if you add more, then it'll be pinker, you know, kind of like food coloring. But that is how you would get your colors together for your resin. If you wanted to do multiple colors, it would be the same process. You get another cup, make your color, you're good to go. So you're able to, whenever you're decorating, you're actually able, you can choose paint or the pigmented powder to color your resin. You're able to add glitter, alcohol, ink, dried flowers, photos. The choices, the options are endless. So after you have your coloring good to go, you want to go ahead and pour into your mold. This mold that I have here is my domino mold, which is how I create my dominoes. So what you would do here is pour this mixture into the mold, into each mold. Most of the resin is self-leveling, but you still want to make sure you're on a flat surface so it'll level itself out. So once you pour it into the mold here, you want to let it sit for about 24 to 48 hours, possibly even 72, just kind of until it hardens. Because if you didn't mix everything right, it's not going to harden. And that's part of the curing process, which is that last step. You want to pour it, leave it, and let it do its magic. So that is how we would create the dominoes and get them into the mold. So for timing purposes, I'm not able to show that whole thing because that would take a few days. But I do have a few examples of some dominoes that I have created. Let's see. So this is one here that I've created. And this is so after it hardens and solidifies, then you have the domino. This is another one for the 49ers. We'll also have this one, which does not have a logo. And then this is a customized dominoes I did of The Weeknd. You can see his photos of him there. And then on the inside, we have the EXO logo. So yeah, you guys, that is how we would be able to create and personalize our own set of dominoes. Resin dominoes are a fun way to express your creativeness and make another person smile in the process. Throughout this speech, I've explained how you would create your own customized set of dominoes, properly mixing your epoxy resin and hardener, decorating your dominoes, and curing them should have the outcome of a beautiful gift that can last a lifetime. Memorable gifts often become a special prized possession to many. I personally love being a part of something that brings joy to another, even if it's through a simple game of dominoes. Thank you.